2 years ago, I was looking into relocating to Oman. And I remember the biggest hurdle I had back then was, do I want to move to Muscat city or do I want to move to Salalah? Now, being the absolute genius that I am, I had to do some research. So I did. I joined a bunch of random groups online by random people that have probably never been to Oman and made my decision. And I was set on moving to Salalah. Now, whether that was a good decision or a bad decision, I'm going to walk you through my experience with Salalah. So off the back of not knowing anything about Oman, when I was doing my research, I found that Salalah was like Europe. It had all the greenery, it had waterfalls, rivers, the weather was amazing. It looked like Scotland in the Gulf. So I was like, great, best of both worlds. I make hijrah to a Muslim country and I get to live in Scotland. And while my residency was getting processed, I was in Muscat for 2 weeks. So I had a good feel of what it was like. I realized it was quite slow. I realized it was quite modern. I realized a lot of people could speak English. So I was just analyzing the city while I was there. But as soon as I got my residency, I bought a car, put my 3 suitcases in the boot and drove 9 hours directly to Salalah at like 9 p.m. Naive me, super excited, about to start my hijrah journey in Scotland, aka Salalah. And that drive was absolutely horrible. There was no lights for about 5-6 hours of the motorway. So I'm there with my red eyes, sleep deprived, itching to go to Salalah, not knowing where the speed cameras are, not knowing what the speed limit is. And I remember I got so tired, I parked up on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere and took like a 2-hour nap. And after my little 2-hour power nap, I put the keys back in, grinded the rest of the 4 hours away, half asleep. And in the corner of my eye, I saw "Welcome to Salalah." My eyes just lit up. I was like, I'm finally here. This is what I've been planning for 2 years. I'm in Scotland. So now I'm awake, I'm excited. My sat-nav saying about 15 minutes away to my location. I've had a long 9-hour drive. I booked a hotel, fallen asleep, and woke up the next day with a clear head, ready to crack on with Salalah. Jump back in my car and I go explore Salalah. I'm looking at properties, etc. I'm seeing a very, very slow, like Muscat was slow to me when I first spent my 2 weeks there. Now amplify that by 70. That's how slow Salalah was. And I remember just looking around and be like, whoa, what is this? And you gotta bear in mind, I planned this for 2 years. So like I was set on Salalah. This was it. This was my plan. This was A. There's no plan B, no plan C. This has to work. And I remember going to the shopping centre, looking around. I'm like, well, this is absolutely underwhelming to say the least. And being so bored. It was so slow paced. There was no life. I just weren't feeling it at all. But I remember speaking to a couple of landlords and be like, okay, well, I need accommodation. First of all, they spoke no English at all. So I'm doing caveman Arabic with them, just throwing random numbers. And they're like, yeah, here. I don't know what they want me to sign, like my soul or something. I don't know what's going on. They don't speak English. But while I was in Muscat, I was asking the locals about Salalah and other expats about Salalah. And they were all saying one thing. If you go to Salalah and you stay in Salalah, the landlords, when it comes to the monsoon season, which is every year about 3 to 4 months, this is where they make their money for the whole year. People from all over the Gulf, all over the world come and visit Salalah and they stay there for 3-4 months. So like places like Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, when it's like 40-50 degrees, they come there during the monsoon season when it's about 20 degrees, rain, greenery, waterfalls, etc. And the landlords kick all the tenants out. So when I'm speaking to the landlords, they're all saying, yeah, no problem. This is how much you're going to pay. But when it comes to monsoon season, khalas, like that. Now that's a major issue. How am I committing to a city where I'm cool for 8 to 9 months and then for the other remaining 4 months, I've got my suitcases in my hand with my family and stuff looking for another accommodation? That's absolutely ridiculous. So that was a major turn off for me as well. And I had to hit the drawing board once again. So I went to the local beach, which by the way was absolutely beautiful. White sand, crystal clear blue seawater. I'll give them that. I went for a long stroll and had to ponder on my decision. I was like, looked around, I was like, this ain't it. This ain't for me. This is not going to work. So I looked at my missus and I was like, Muscat. And she had this look of relief in her face as well, more than mine. So we drove 9 hours straight back to Muscat. Went back to the same hotel and started planning out our stay in Muscat. Now, since I've been in Oman for nearly 2 years now, I can give you more of an insight. That was just my personal experience then, but I'll give you a deeper insight. And by the way, if you want to figure out if Muscat or Salalah is better for you, there's a link in the description below. It's a little quiz that I created for you. Fill it out and it will tell you what city is most suited for you. And it's very accurate. Now let's get into the advantages and disadvantages of Salalah and Muscat. In Salalah, let's talk about cost of living. Yes, the cost of living is cheaper, predominantly accommodation. Now, how much cheaper are we talking? Maybe £200 to £300 per month. Now, you got to factor in, it's going to be very difficult for you to find an accommodation where you're staying 12 months out of the year. Do you really want to go through the headache of that 3 to 4 month period where the tenant's trying to kick you out, where the landlord's trying to kick you out, and you've got you and your family's bags in your hand trying to source another accommodation? And is £300 really life-changing in terms of all the pros that you do get in Muscat? Now, the other aspect, as an expat moving to Salalah, a lot of people that you're going to bump into do not speak English. So navigating your way through day-to-day life, asking basic things and getting information on basic stuff is going to be so difficult. Now imagine when it comes to the important tasks, when you got to go to the government or when you got to apply for this and apply for that. You got to take in consideration you're going to be in that situation if you move to Salalah, and if you don't speak Arabic, good luck. The expat situation in Salalah compared to Muscat. Muscat hasn't got that many expats, and that is the main city. So it's pretty rare in Muscat. Now compare that to Salalah, you are not bumping into no expat randomly. Yes, there are communities and you can apply for them and you can join them groups. But if that group's not your type of people, it's going to be very difficult for you to make friends. Now, speaking of making friends, the networking opportunities if you go to Muscat compared to Salalah is night and day different. Muscat is constantly injecting innovation, businesses, constantly trying to grow their city. So if you're an entrepreneur, an investor, you'll rub shoulders with the right people in Muscat. Whereas Salalah, you are going to have to really go out your way to find the right people. And the right people might not even exist because it's quite limited. Salalah is about 5 to 10 years behind Muscat City. There's hardly anything going on there. There's hardly anything being built there. The heavy emphasis is on Muscat City, and that's where they're putting all of their eggs into. Now, if you're retired and you want to live a peaceful life and you have all your family members with you, you buy an amazing villa or an amazing apartment in Salalah right next to the beach, you're chilling. Salalah is definitely for you. But for the most part, from what I know, people that are moving to Oman are not coming there to retire. They're coming in to capitalize on a country that's not really been touched. They come in there to set up shop, implement new business ideas, investing in tons of property before prices inflate, and be financially well as long as being in a Muslim country and ticking off the hijrah box for them and their family. Now, another measure of contrast that you might want to factor is Muscat is significantly hotter than Salalah. So if hot weather is genuinely an issue for you, then Salalah is for you. If you want to be in a cooler climate for most of the year, link in the description, 20-second quiz, it will tell you Muscat or Salalah, what is best for you and your family. Super easy. Now if we zoom out for a second and look at it in hindsight, now that I've been here for 2 years in Oman, do I ever see myself residing in Salalah and testing the waters there? And the answer to that, honestly, no. Never, ever would you ever see me living for years at a time in Salalah. I might go there for a holiday for 3 to 4 months during the monsoon season and enjoy the beauty. But other than that, I'm not missing out on all the networking opportunities in Muscat, all the business opportunities in Muscat, being what in a subjective, faster paced city, being able to go about my day-to-day life speaking English and not having the burden of having to learn Arabic. The best international schools are in Muscat, the best hospitals are in Muscat, the best everything is in Muscat. Now, if after watching this video, you're like, okay, I'm moving to Oman and I figured out what city it's Muscat. I want the networking opportunities, I want a network of expats, I want first dibs on an untapped market, then this is for you. Watch this video here where I ask my followers to submit business concepts and business ideas that they have for Oman, and I give my honest feedback whether it be a flop or an absolute hit.